Welcome to the UCF Center for Community Schools 2022-23 Community School Grant Program Information Webinar. Today, we will cover information about the UCF Center for Community Schools, review Community Partnership Schools 101, review the Community School Grant Program, the application submission requirements, go over the application review process, and review how and when to ask questions regarding the application submission. The UCF Center for Community Schools was established in 2014 and is dedicated to the development and sustainability of high-quality community schools, including community partnership schools. There are 4 avenues through which we do that, including providing technical assistance, university-assisted partnerships, training and development, and assessment and evaluation. If you are not familiar with community partnership schools, or you would like additional information on community partnership schools, please click the link in the description box of this webinar to watch our CPS 101 video. There, you will learn more information about community partnership schools. There are 4 components of the Community Partnership Schools model. That includes 4 core partners or more, 4 dedicated staff positions, a distributive organizational structure, and all community partnership school sites are eligible for certification. An essential component of your application is being able to represent the 4 or more core partners of your community partnership school site. Those are a university or college, the school district, a healthcare provider, and a nonprofit partner. The nonprofit must be the fiscal agent, and they are required to employ the community partnership school director that will be housed at the school. It is important to note that the nonprofit does not need to be the main applicant. However, it is recommended that they are. There are 4 pillars of community schools. In 2017, there was a study conducted that looked at community schools to determine what made them successful. It was found that there were 4 main themes in the most successful community schools. Those were the presence of collaborative leadership, expanded learning, wellness supports, and family and community engagement. Next, we will learn more about each of the pillars of community schools. The first pillar is collaborative leadership. Collaborative leadership is a culture of shared governance and collective decision-making toward a unified vision to identify needs and provide resources in the school and community. When you think about collaborative leadership, think about the phrase, "not about us, without us." Collaborative leadership ensures that all of the people that are going to be impacted by the decisions of the community partnership school are involved in the decision-making process. The next pillar is expanded learning. Expanded learning is academic support and enrichment that takes place before and after school, during weekends, and in summer to augment traditional learning during the day. Expanded learning can include performance arts, leadership opportunities, teaching life skills, college prep, yoga, and a myriad of other activities that expand students' learning, growth, and development beyond what is taught during the traditional school day. The next pillar is wellness supports. Wellness supports include access to a range of health and social services that are provided on the school's campus. Ideally, These services are located on the campus. However, the primary focus is on access. We want to make sure students and families have access to all types of health services, including primary health care, dental treatment, vision care, behavioral health counseling, health insurance access, and addressing food insecurity. The final pillar is family and community engagement. Family and community engagement is bringing families and the community into the school as partners in the student's success. It's also making the school a neighborhood center that provides adult enrichment opportunities. This could include a parent resource center, a clothes pantry, volunteer coordination, school event planning, and parent education opportunities. In alignment with the four pillars, there are four dedicated staff positions of Community Partnership Schools. The Community Partnership School Director embodies collaborative leadership. The three coordinators, Expanded Learning Coordinator, Wellness Coordinator, and the Family and Community Engagement Coordinator, are tasked with identifying and coordinating resources, but they are not responsible for direct service. At the time of your application, it is okay if you do not have all of your coordinators in place. It is understood that those programs develop over time. About the program itself, the Community School Grant Program was established by the Florida Legislature to improve student success and well-being by engaging and supporting parents and community organizations in their efforts to positively impact student learning and development. Additionally, the Florida Legislature defines community school model and establishes the UCF Center for Community Schools as the facilitator of the Community School Grant Program. When I mentioned that it defines community school model, it defines it as a school service model developed by the UCF Center for Community Schools, which utilizes long-term partnerships among a school district, a community organization or nonprofit, a college or university, and a healthcare provider. All partners are focused on implementing programs that positively impact students, families, and communities. A key component of this model is the long-term partnership that exists through a Memorandum of Understanding or an MOU, which commits all the partners to the work of the Community Partnership School. The Community School Grant Program offers two types of grants. The first type is the Planning Grant, which we are talking about here today and the application is currently open for. This is a competitive grant and priority must be given to school districts that do not yet have a community partnership school and demonstrate the technical and financial ability to sustain the model. The second type is the implementation grants. These grants are non-competitive and the awards are contingent upon matching funds secured through the partnership. And those funds just come from the community in terms of community match. There are also additional deliverables that once your community partnership school site is in the implementation phase, you will learn what those deliverables are, and that is how you secure your funding year over year. Next, I want to get into the intention for the funding. This funding is for core positions and administrative costs, ancillary positions and operational expenses, so those are programs and services, plus any associated allowable costs, and then the top tier is going to be project support. The bottom and most important tier in the intention for funding are those core positions and administrative costs. So core community partnership school staff positions are the director, the expanded learning coordinator, the wellness coordinator, and the family and community engagement coordinator. You may also write in up to 8% of administrative costs, and these are to cover salaries of administrative or clerical staff. They can also cover finance staff, and HR staff if you are utilizing them to hire people for payroll, for budgeting, anybody responsible in helping the community partnership school maintain itself. Those can also be included in the administrative costs section. The midsection covers the ancillary CPS staff positions. These positions are as needed and they must be in direct support of a singular site. These can be the assistant director, administrative coordinator, a volunteer coordinator, any educational case managers, or other positions that are needed to support a singular site. The other aspect that's included in this middle tier in terms of the intention for funding are the programs and services that directly address student, family, and community needs during and outside of the school day, such as expanded learning opportunities, so tutoring, enrichment, mentoring, comprehensive wellness supports, and here this can also look like funding for copays, social, emotional, behavioral, primary health care, nutrition education, family and community engagement opportunities. So that looks like parental involvement, leadership skills, parent literacy workshops and or education, volunteering and mentoring programs, professional development for teachers, evaluations, needs, assessments or data collection efforts and outcomes. And also, most importantly, sustainability plans, because we want to make sure that you not only can establish, but you can sustain the efforts of your community partnership school site. The top tier in the intention for funding triangle is project support. Project support is defined as positions that support CPS initiatives but are not specific to one school. This typically is only included in a budget when an organization has more than one CPS site. Examples include a data manager that supports multiple sites or a supervisor position that supports multiple sites. We are excited this year to award up to 7 public elementary or secondary schools up to $80,000 each in planning grant funds to begin establishing a community partnership school. The planning year project budget must be supported through other community contributions as well. And for this year, that amount is $20,000, which is 25% of the total award. So that's that 25% match that we've been talking about. So here's a visual depiction of your match contribution. And remember, match can be cash and or in-kind donations such as private donations, office space, technology, any of those things. In looking at your entire planning year project budget, the total budget is 75% the planning grant itself, which would be the $80,000, plus the 25% match that you are required to secure from your community. Those two totals combined equals your total planning year project budget. We talked a little bit earlier about eligibility. A key component of eligibility is the core partnerships commitment. That is, at minimum, a school district, a healthcare provider, a nonprofit organization, and a college or university. Additionally, the nonprofit has to have been in existence for at least 3 years and serve the school district's community. Finally, the partnerships must be committed to developing an MOU, and that MOU must be submitted either in final draft or a draft form that all partners have seen by June 30th, 2023, which is the end of our fiscal year. The easiest way to begin the application process is to go to the Center for Community Schools website, scroll to the bottom of the page, and click Community School Grant Program in the big blue box. From there, you are going to create a profile, and once that profile is complete, then you will be able to move on to completing the actual application. Remember that applications can be saved as drafts and returned to later. Additionally, applicants may submit more than one application, and that is only if you are a nonprofit and you're making application for a different school. As you're working your way through the application, think long term. You want to speak to plans for multiple years of implementation and talk about sustainability. The application is text only. However, you may upload attachments as needed to support your entire application. Now, we're going to walk through each section of the application, and I'm going to give you a little bit more information regarding what to include in those sections. The abstract section summarizes your proposal in 500 words or less in this section. In those 500 words, outline the core partners, those intending to be on the MOU, outline which school will be the recipient of the award, and what you hope to accomplish with the funds. There's also a signature page that you need to download, read, sign, and then re-upload. And that signature page simply states that you have the authority to submit the application and everything you submitted is true to the best of your knowledge. The next section is the need/community context. In this section, you should provide detailed information about the school and the community that this project looks to serve. Applicants typically share demographics in this section. So those are the demographics of the school and the community, as well as data on the ABCs, attendance, behavior, which also includes referrals and suspensions, and course performance. Also, this section wants to know what needs do you already know about the community and how do you know that those are needs? So how did you go about finding out that information? And those are the things that you want to include in the needs/community context section. The committed core partnerships section is a really important part of your application. A core component of the community partnership school model is the commitment of 4 or more core partners. In this section, you want to include information about the nonprofit, school district, college or university, and the healthcare partner. You should also include information about each organization's ties to the community, as well as share any information that you have about the ways in which the organizations have partnered together in the past. Additionally, in this section, you should also include what each organization anticipates bringing to the partnership. Please also include a letter of support from each organization that demonstrates their commitment to the long-term partnership. If there is an existing MOU or a draft of an MOU between the organizations, please include that information as well. In the supportive community section, focus on demonstrating how the Community Partnership School initiative is supported by the community. Do organizations in the community already support the school via donations, events, or community service? And if they do, have those organizations provide support letters. You may also include support letters from local businesses, faith leaders, school administrations, and parent-teacher organizations. All of those are strongly encouraged. In the project section, expand upon what the partners hope to accomplish with the Community School Grant Program funds. Think about the programs and services that you would like to implement. How do they align with the needs of the school and the community that you already mentioned in the needs section? What existing resources are there in the school? How will those align to the community school effort? How will it enhance the work? How will the CPS integrate within the school so that it is not siloed or viewed as a separate program? Additionally, in this section, your statement of work should reflect your planning grant project year only. You don't need to include information beyond that. The next section is the goals, objectives/outcomes and evaluation section. In this section, speak to the intended outcomes of the project. Be sure to align the goals to the data that was shared in the needs section. For example, if you had data to show that your school has low average daily attendance or high percentages of chronically absent students, a goal around attendance would be anticipated. When you are creating your goals, think about the 4 pillars of community schools: collaborative leadership, expanded learning, wellness supports, and family and community engagement. When describing your goals, align your proposed programs and services with your desired outcomes. Finally, discuss the metrics or indicators that you plan to monitor in order to measure success. Is it testing scores, attendance rate, number of referrals? Give the review committee an idea of how you will continuously monitor progress. The next section is the diversified and leveraged budget for sustainability. With your application, you are required to submit two budgets. The first is for the planning year ending in June 2023. The second is a projection for the third year of implementation. In the narrative, speak to how the community school will avoid over-reliance on the grant or nonprofit to sustain the initiative. Will the partners take on a coordinator? Will there be a grant team responsible for identifying opportunities to support the core partnerships? Explain the plan for sustaining the community school in this section. Application submission. Applications are due on Friday, September 9th, 2022 at 11:59 p.m. Eastern. Once the application is complete, the Submit button on the application page will become green and clickable. You must click the green Submit button to complete your submission. Once your application is complete and you've hit that green Submit button, you automatically move to the first phase application review. In this phase, we are ensuring that applications are complete. Did you have your signature page signed? Did you include your MOU or letters of support from your core partners, your statement of work, your planning grant budget, and your implementation year 3 projected budget, as well as any other supporting documentation that you wanted to include with your application? Remember that incomplete or late applications are not eligible for consideration and will be eliminated. Only complete and timely applications will move to the next review phase, and notifications will not be sent. So only notifications of incomplete applications will be sent. If your application has a minor clarification needed, an email will be sent directly to you, and you will have 2 days to complete the request. All complete and timely applications from Phase 1 move to Phase 2 of the application review process. The Community School Grant Program Grants Committee, consisting of Florida and national community school and education experts, will score the applications and together select up to 7 successful applications to receive planning grant awards of up to $80,000 each. Notification. Applicants will be notified of the award decision via email by October 21st, 2022. Award announcements will also be posted to our website. Technical assistance. In addition to funding, school districts and communities will receive ongoing training and technical assistance from the UCF Center for Community Schools for the purpose of community school planning, implementation, and evaluation. This could include presentations, strategic discussion facilitation, learning and development events, in-person and virtual consultation and coaching, and resource production. Fiscal accountability. All project recipients are responsible for determining that all project expenditures comply with applicable laws, regulations, statutes, rules, policies, and program requirements. The nonprofit organization will be the fiscal agent of the award. If you have additional questions, please refer to Appendix B, the Fiscal and Program Accountability Guidance Sheet. As a reminder, at the end of the project year, any unspent funds must be returned to the Florida Department of Education. Any remaining award dollars are not permitted to be extended or carried forward. Reporting. Each quarter, progress reports will be submitted to the UCF Center for Community Schools Grants and Contract Specialist. These reports must demonstrate progress towards achieving deliverables, such as establishing an MOU, securing a minimum of 25% of the awarded amount in community match funding, Establish and convene at least 2 community partnership school cabinet or leadership meetings, and the completion of an asset map, to name a few. The UCF Center for Community Schools would like to thank you for your engagement in this webinar. If you have additional questions, please contact LaQuinte Campbell using the contact information on the screen.